So, my name's Brian Peterson, and I am a heavy contributor to different projects for the Spring Chi-Town coding crew. Um, and I was just going to talk about some of the technology we use. Not going over into too much detail because not everyone here is a technologist. Um, so, to start with, oops, um, we, myself and two of the people who are not here, names correct, you can see here, this is Sarah and Maria. They both were very important, and we were all working on the project together with Tracy as well as Chris. Um, Sarah as a designer, and Maria as a journalist and editor for us. And of course, David Eads is helping us out, design ideas throughout. Um, so, kind of what we got from Tracy and Chris, and after some discussions, was that we wanted to have a kind of a bird's eye view of the whole system as it was, and also to be able to highlight specifically the holes in the data availability. So, like the prosecutor's office, and to make that really visible where some data is not available at all and some more available. And to zoom in on individual sources of data to give perspective and context to what some of these fields mean or which ones are the important ones. So what we came up with was this. I can show you the website live, but it's basically what I call an index. It's just a big listing, very flat, from the top down, and we're seeing victimization, call for service, incidents. And you can see alongside it the availability of the data. So that was of prime importance here. And you can zoom down into each of the pages. This is just what we were looking at before. Looking at the detail page to see all the different fields that are associated with the jail. This one is one that I'm more familiar with because of the Cook County Jail API. And you can see these are the open fields. If you went through it, you'd see the fields that are available for FOIA, and you'd be able to go through there and actually see some of the more interesting ones. And that was kind of the idea here. I can show you it to you and make more sense here to talk about it. But really, you can see right at the top of the website kind of what we consider to be important. And I wrote some of this out myself. Open data, you can see stuff like their name and birthday and so on. FOIAble data, you can see information like just the booking information, like who booked them, the security level of their custody. You can see a fingerprint, various other numbers used to identify them to federal agencies. So you can kind of just get a picture of what some of the more critical fields are. And for instance, social security numbers are not available to non-amenable FOIA Tracy judge in this case. This is too personally identifying. So that was kind of what we came up with, just as a design for this whole scheme. And we used Tarbell to do it, which Dave mentioned earlier. Tarbell is a static site generator, which is to say that you have a certain set of documents that you have, and you kind of just say, well, I'm going to pull in. I want to say. I don't want to say what I'm going to put in here right now, but I'm going to define it later. And Tarbell uses Google spreadsheets to allow you to pull in information specifically into your HTML. And so this allowed us to have a really cool site structure where we kind of just said, here's all the different pages that we were going to define, and define the navigation. You can define any kind of simple data structure where you're looking at, like, for instance, all the fields. I ended up doing, you can see it here, all the fields. This is Markdown with some HTML representing how this page that you saw earlier was put together. And all these fields are actually pulled in through this spreadsheet. So they're all defined in the spreadsheet, and we could go ahead and dynamically edit them later if we wanted to. So it's all set up to be kind of separated into different parts, where you're letting the spreadsheet handle part of it, letting the HTML handle part of it. And in this case, this is Markdown too, so we can have actual journalists just go and write some stuff that they know how to do, just work with directly, and put that in there. And that's what we're doing right now for the the conviction data project that Tracy was mentioning, the report data. So I ended up being able to do some cool stuff like this, just pull it right in from a spreadsheet. It's very convenient. And I also ended up contributing to Tarbell just because it was we were kind of defining some of the use cases they were going to see for the first time. So, for instance, wanting to be able to take our document that was being dynamically generated and dynamically generate more documents with it. So it's sort of a complex use case, but it's Tarbell. Tarbell is Tarbell is something that David Eads mentioned just at the very beginning, and he said that it's basically just its content management system, a really, really simple one for making websites that the Tribune's team put together. And we've used it for a couple websites now, and it's very simple to put some simple websites together.
Could I ask you a quick?
Yeah.
I'm having trouble seeing some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have these slides or anything online that I can?
The spreadsheet?
Yeah, or like the past, like where you were showing the FOIA information and stuff. I can read the details.
Oh, yeah.
Is there,
This?
yeah, do you have this available online?
Yeah, this is open data. So
I think he means the
slides.
slides
The
themselves.
slides.
This presentation.
this presentation, no, I don't. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I can make it available though.
Okay, that would be great.
Yeah. Does anyone have any more questions, or we keep going? I think I'm almost done here. So I just had some kind of developer perspective data takeaways. Just being able to see the system as a whole, you can get kind of interesting perspective. You know, lack of open data is the first thing that everyone wants to talk about, and it's pretty obvious if you look at the whole site as it is. We have the incident report data, and the jail and DOC data is kind of the jail and prison data is available to a certain extent. Tracy has FOIA'd some of the court records, but as a whole, the system doesn't really allow you to see kind of how things fit together. You know? So, yeah, and so data perspectives, like I said, the incident report data, it's very hard to tie it into court data or jail data because there's no charge associated with someone at the time that they get arrested or they get in general, the early contact points with the law that you see, like the call for service, can't really be tied to the later ones because of this problem. And so you have a situation where the jail data is pretty amenable. We are able to see that to a certain extent. So we're kind of pressuring them on the jail side, but we can't actually have a similar effect so much with regards to court data, where people are actually interacting and their cases being cited. They're actually interacting with the law, as opposed to having already been incarcerated. So that's all I really have. The project that mentioned several times now that is we're working on now is focused on the court, specifically conviction data. So we're going to see some really interesting stuff once we are able to clean that data some more. And Tracy's working with us on that still, and we're hoping to have a website get pushed out of that project as well.